Test, test, 1, 2.
Test, test, testing. Test.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. Right. Mhm. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lorraine Quimito, City Planner with the City of Socorro. It's my pleasure and great honor to welcome you all here today on behalf of the City of Socorro. We're happy to have you and encourage you to take part in all of the activities that the consultants have prepared for us today. It's all geared toward helping us produce a comprehensive plan that is going to take us into the future, looking at what Socorro would like to see for itself in 2040. The plan will come up with short-term, midterm, and long-term goals to help improve the quality of life for all of our citizens. I want to go ahead and introduce our consultant team. They are with Matrix Group, Design Group. Mr. Brent Cox and Janice Pokrant will be leading today's meeting. They'll start with a presentation and have us visit the different stations with activities, but I'll let them give you more information on that. Again, before I pass the microphone over to Brendan, I want to thank everyone for coming, and I look forward to being able to speak to everyone and listen to everyone's ideas. Thank you.
Are we able to switch the slides? Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Okay, we got our slides up there now. So, really tonight, we want to hear from all of you tonight. So, we'll present a short presentation, just kind of what the plan is, why we're all here tonight, and then we'll go over all the different activities for around the room tonight. So really, this is going to be the community's plan. It's not our plan. We're just helping facilitate and engage the community. So you all here tonight are the ones who we want to hear from. So we'll go through the schedule quickly and then talk about the engagement activities. From the city, we are working closely with several of the city staff on a regular basis, but behind the scenes, the whole city, all the departments are involved in this plan, Planning, Zoning Commission, Council. So these are just some of the key members that we meet with on a regular basis. Lorene is managing the project from the city side, so she's kind of our go-to. If you have questions after this evening's meeting, you can go toward the website and submit questions there, or you can reach out to Lorene directly. From Matrix tonight is me and Janice, and we have a big team behind us back in our office. We've also got Texas Infrastructure Group with us this evening. They're providing support on the plan as well, Jesse Ramos and JP. So they'll be helping facilitate some of the activities this evening as well. If you have questions, find us or them or any of the city staff, and we'll all be happy to help. So Matrix, we've been around since 1999. We work across the country developing general plans, comprehensive plans, and we've done extensive work throughout Texas. These are just a few of our Texas projects up here. But Janice is she lives in Del Rio, so she's very familiar with Texas planning and some of the challenges that come with challenges and opportunities for planning within Texas and especially for border communities. So she's a great asset for the team. And I'm going to pass it to her now, and we don't want to get bored with just one of us this evening. So she's going to take over a few slides, and then I'll jump back in, and we'll get into the activities.
Hi, good evening. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what a comprehensive plan is before we get forward and moving forward with our projects. Comprehensive plan is a long-term plan. It is general in nature, and it is a policy document. What we want to do is we want to make sure that it conveys the vision for Socorro, for what you want Socorro to be for the next 20, 40 years. And so we want to make sure that it conveys your goals, your strategies, and programs that guide your community and your city staff moving forward to implement that. It will also, we are going to be looking at a future land use map that will come along with this plan as well. What it is not a zoning ordinance. It might recommend some policies, like we said in the previous presentation. It has policies that might guide your zoning ordinance, but it is not a zoning ordinance. It's not regulatory, and it does not modify existing uses. So if you think about what we're doing here, the comprehensive plan is like a pyramid. So at the bottom of the pyramid, you have your plan that is your policy document that conveys your vision. And from there, building upon that is your zoning ordinances or your corridor plans. And then you have your site plans that implement that corridor plan, your building plans that are compliance with the site plans, and then of course your certificate of occupancy. Comprehensive planning requirements in the state of Texas, it is required for a community to have a comprehensive plan if they are going to regulate zoning within the community. And so the comprehensive plan recommended elements within the plan is your land use, your public facilities, and transportation. The current comprehensive plan that you have now was adopted in 2014. It's organized into 8 elements, which is land use, economic development, housing, green infrastructure and rural character, parks and recreation, public facilities, transportation, and utility infrastructure. This is a example of the future land use map that was provided in 2014, and this is what city staff uses when they're making recommendations or they're doing an analysis on zoning cases that are brought forward to city council for review. And the land use categories that are in your future land use map are historic districts, 4 residential types of zoning districts, commercial, a special use amusement park or regional retail, light industrial, future development, public institutional, agricultural, and industrial manufacturing and warehouses. So why do we want to update the existing plan? A lot of times, every 20 years, or maybe even more frequently, considering how much your community is growing, the vision changes. You want to make sure that your comprehensive plan is in line with how you want to see your community grow. And so when you do one of these existing, why you want to update it is to make sure that you're in line with that, that you address the current opportunities and challenges that you have, and that you restructure for ease of use. Sometimes some of the requirements or recommendations in existing plan need to be updated because it's just hard to implement. And then you want to capture any changes in population and demographics within your community. So some of the things that we've already been looking at with your population, Socorro's population, it continues to grow. And that was something that was mentioned in your 2014 study. And so you've grown over 3,000 residents over the last decade. And how do we plan for that growth? And that's what we want to be looking at. Your Socorro's median age is is changing as well. And so with that, you have different desires of your community residents. Your income and housing is also changing. Income continues to increase is what we're seeing. It's consistent with the growth in the county and the state. And you'll see those numbers there on this chart. And then also your values are increasing, and that is by 119% between 2020 and 2022. And that is, I had to look at that number again just to make sure I read that correctly. That is a substantial increase. And so we want to make sure that we're planning for that as we plan for your 20-year vision. The 2040 community plan, what we would be looking at, proposed elements that we are looking at is land use, historic and cultural preservation, housing, sustainability, parks, trails, and open spaces, community and public facilities, transportation, and then infrastructure. And these proposed elements were what we heard. We did some focus group interviews and some interviews with city staff, and these are some reoccurring elements that we heard when we were doing some interviews. So what you'll see when we're looking and we're going to be presenting the plan, you'll see that we outline goals and policies. This is an example of what you'll see in the plan. We'll have the actual goal, and then we'll have some policies that go along with that. And then there'll be a separate section where we have an implementation plan. And this is what is so exciting. I was previously a city planner, and I like a good outline and a guide for how we proceed. What this does is you have an action number for city staff. You have the implementation action. You have a time frame in here, whether it be short, midterm, or long term, and a cost estimate. And then there's also a responsible party or parties that is within the staff or the community that will help implementate this plan. And then a date complete, so that is your estimated date that it would be complete for each element. Some considerations that we would be looking at for implementation is financial resources, is your ability to in a sustainable manner and not be dependent upon your tax base or your revenue base. And so we would be looking at how do we expand upon that to implement some of these strategies. Your personal resources, what is the resources that your community has right now? The ability to have a dedicated staff to do the implementation. And then your technological resources, your ability to operate, maintain, and perform various actions. And so those are the things that we want to make sure that this is a achievable plan when you start looking towards implementation. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it back to Bren so that he can talk about project schedule.
What's that? We can take questions at the end, but if anybody has questions throughout, feel free to use the comment cards, and then we'll collect all those at the end. And we'll all be here afterwards, so we're going to be in this room until 8 o'clock. So presentation's meant to be just a short portion of it, and then we want to have kind of some dialogue with everybody. So this just kind of shows the general steps that we're taking throughout the plan. So right now we're kind of about the 1/3 way mark. We're developing the vision statement with the focus groups and the steering committee. And then the vision statement will be presented at the next community meeting in early 2024. And so we're just in the early stages of our public engagement right now. As when we get to the next slide, you'll see what those other opportunities are. At the end of this time frame, the plan will go to Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council for a vote, and then they will vote to approve and adopt this plan, which will then replace the plan that was completed in 2014. So this is the first of 3 community meetings. Each community meeting will present different information and have different activities to get input from the community. But the website will be active throughout the whole project, so the in-person meetings are not the only time that you can provide your input. We want to hear from you throughout the whole time frame. So from start to finish, the plan is scheduled to take about 1 year. So as you can see now, we're about in the 3rd month of the year phase. And then when we come back out in early 2024, we'll present some of the findings that we heard from this meeting. And then we'll kind of get into the development of those goals and policies that Janice talked about and start doing some of that land use identification for how that future land use map will be developed for the plan. So when we started the project, it was important to build some branding to kind of give that out there for the community so that when they see the branding, they'll kind of associate it with this project. We wanted to tie in some of the city's current branding, so it's still identifiable with the city, and bring in some of those elements. So we worked with city staff to develop the branding, the logo, and then the color palette will be prominent throughout. So as you look around the room and see some of the materials, those are kind of the branding colors for the project. So when we start developing the plan, the fonts and styles and look of the plan will incorporate these branding colors as well. And when you go to the website, you'll see they're prominent throughout there. So there's kind of 6 components of community engagement that we're targeting in on. The website is going to be probably the most accessible. It's available right now, and if you have the little cards on the table, or if you got one at the sign-in table, it has a QR code. You can go visit the website through there. Right now, there's 2 engagement activities on the project website. There's the questionnaire, so you can fill that out this evening as well. But if you have friends, family, neighbors, anybody who couldn't make it tonight, they can fill the questionnaire out through the project website. It'll be available until December 8th. This is our first of 3 community meetings, and then we are engaging with city staff and council throughout as well. City staff will do some of that engagement with the council. But at the end, as I mentioned, we will be bringing it to Planning and Zoning Commission and Council for their review and then approval of the final plan. There's a steering committee that's composed of some selected community members, business owners, property owners, and they'll be meeting throughout the project as well. And their role is to kind of be liaisons for the community to help as we develop some of the elements of the plan. They'll be reviewing components before they go out to the public to make sure we're capturing things properly and getting the right message out for the community. And then, as Janice mentioned, we did have a series of focus groups where we kind of talked with stakeholders from the various elements that'll be in the plan and got their input on what some of those needs are for the community that need to be included in the plan as well. So when you get to the boards over there, I'm kind of jumping ahead on some of my slides here, but the input we received so far came from those focus group meetings and steering committee and our meetings with the city departments. So this is our first of 3 community meetings. Depending what kind of information we'll be presenting at the future meetings, we're anticipating the next meeting will be more of an open house, so we'll have a lot more information to present and a lot of feedback we want to get from the community. So There may be a presentation to start it, or it may just be open house. We'll be coordinating that with city staff, just based on the type of information that we need to get out, because this is kind of our first step in getting the general information out, and then the next meeting, we're gonna wanna get a lot of good input from the community. That doesn't mean that we don't wanna have discussion, so that's gonna occur throughout the process. And then the third meeting will likely have a presentation component, because we'll be presenting the draft elements for the plan, and those are, it's a good opportunity to kind of go through the process of how those goals and policies within those elements were developed. The project website is, if you go to it at the top, there's a little button on the right side of the header bar, so you can toggle between English and Spanish on that website. And then the different activities are also available in English and Spanish. Through the website, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get my mouse over there. But these little buttons up here, you can sign up to join the email list. So if you submit your email through there, then you'll get notification for the upcoming meetings or when there's draft materials. And then, lost my mouse, but the lighter button next to it, you can submit comments directly through the website. So those will come to us as well as Lorene and the city planning team. So we'll be monitoring those throughout the project. And if you have questions, you can submit them through there, and then we'll get answers back to you. So I mentioned there's the community questionnaire on the website. The second tool is called ID Places. It's an interactive mapping tool. So it pulls up a GIS site, and then you can select a series of different icons to drop a little point onto the map based on whether you want to say there's an issue there or an opportunity there or a strength. Something that should be celebrated throughout the plan. If there's a park that you really like, you can put down that, and then type in a comment there. So these comments that are posted there will be viewable by anybody who access the site. So please be kind and respectful if you do post comments on there. And we'll be monitoring those throughout as well to help us as we start building the plan. So I'm going to walk through the different activities that are around the room. The first one is the Where Do You Live map right here at this table. So this will just help us to kind of gauge where people are coming from tonight within the community, and it's not going to be a scientific process, but it will help us understand some of the comments we received, maybe if they're targeted for a certain community. We don't need a dot on your specific house. We're not tracking or anything. We just want to know where the community is coming out from, and if there's some areas of the community that might need some better targeting in outreach for the upcoming meetings. The questionnaire and comment cards, so you can fill those out, and then there's a basket at the back of this room or a basket at the sign-in table. You can drop those off. You can come give them to me or Janice or Jesse or JP or anybody, and we can take those from you as well. The input boards, so on the wall over here, we're looking. You'll see there's a question at the top of each board, so we want to know, what do you love about Socorro today, and what do you want to see for it in the future? So the first board helps us understand what we need to celebrate within the plan as part of the existing conditions component, and then the second board will help us as we develop that vision statement for how the community should look 20 years from now, which is what the time frame for the plan is. And then on the back board there, Should have all gotten your little dot stickers when you came in. If you don't have them, let us know. We can grab you some, or you can go to the sign-in table. But there's 16 stickers. There's 16 items up on these boards. So these were showing some different observations that we've heard from our focus groups, our city staff meetings, and the steering committee. And we want to know, are these things that the community also agrees with? Are they things we don't need to worry about in the plan? So that's just a few of the things we've heard, but we want to hear also what you have in addition to those. So for this wall, this is what we call our strengths and challenges board. There's index cards over here on the table, so if we want to hear from you what a strength or opportunity is, would be written on a green card, and an issue or challenge would be written on the pink card. And then hopefully they'll stick on the wall. If they don't, let us know. We can get some tape, or you can use also the Post-it notes. They're fully sticky on the back, so those might stick a little better. Our wall sometimes loses its stickiness when we travel, but if you just push firm, it should stick there. So as you're identifying your strength or challenge, just do your best to put it under whatever topic you feel that it is most appropriate for. Some of them may be relevant under multiple topics, so that's fine. If you have questions on what some of those topics are, feel free to ask us. So for next steps, after tonight, we want everybody to go to the website, check it out, and share it with your friends, family, neighbors. Have them go do the questionnaire through there. And then if there's any areas you want to identify on that ID Places app as well, the questionnaire will be available until December 8th. And then at that point, we need to collect all the input so we can evaluate it for incorporating it into the plan. And then we were looking for January, February timeframe for that second community meeting. And we're going to present our findings and some of the new components of the plan that we're developing. Any questions? Yes.
So it says that we're going to update the 2014 comprehensive plan that was created then. How much of that plan is actually, or what percentage of that plan was actually enforced or done? Or where are we with that? Like, how far did it go, I guess is what my question is. Because now we're developing a new plan, but what are we picking up from the old plan?
Right. So we've been working with city staff to identify, go through the goals that are in there and identify which ones have been achieved and kind of don't need to worry about those anymore, which ones are in process and we want to carry those forward into the new plan, and then which ones have not even been addressed. And those well, there's two parts to that. So they haven't been addressed because they're no longer relevant. So maybe those don't move forward to the plan. But if they haven't been addressed and they are relevant, we'll move those forward. And then as we work through with city staff, we're going to identify new goals and opportunities as well, because a lot of things have changed since that previous plan. So we want to make sure that the new plan's capturing the current development patterns and future plan growth within the community.
So as a community resident, then how would I know what that plan looked like and what now you're proposing for 2020?
Again, my name is Lorraine Quimito, for anybody who might have come in a little later, the city planner. The 2014 plan is available on the website, and we might have a paper copy to bring into the room right now. We can take a look and see things that are of interest to you. But in just one example, a lot of the transportation proposed new roads in the 2014 haven't been built yet. So that's just one example. Was there another question?
No, my concern was what part of that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
I mean, we can keep writing comprehensive plans, but if we never really accomplish the first ones, when we might have been put input then, then where are we going with it, is where I'm going. You know, because I mean, I've lived in Socorro for, almost 30 years, and so it does have an impact for everybody that has lived here. And we see roads that have come to a dead end, and they don't go where 30 years ago they said they were going to hook up with I-10, or they were going to hook up with North Loop, or they were going to hook up with Alameda. And I think that is most important with our infrastructure and with all the traffic problems that we're having today. I think that's where I was looking at, because we can keep writing and we can put it on the board, but how much of that are we going to get to? When we talk about short term, you talk about somewhere in the middle, and then we're looking at the future. When you say short term, what are we looking at? The next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? What are we looking at?
So I think generally in planning terms, short term is 1 to 2 years, midterm 5 to 10 years, then long term, the longer stretch of this plan, which is looking out 25 years. And point to a good comprehensive plan and making a good comprehensive plan work, and seeing the projects in that plan come to fruition are largely based on how much public participation there is. Because if the public isn't behind it to push these projects forward, they kind of die. Or if in the plan there isn't the steps moving forward to see the projects happen, they kind of die and they don't come to fruition. So that will definitely be something to add on these comment boards. What are we going to put in place in these plans to make sure these things happen? Because we're here spending our time today to see something come of it. Did you have a question?
Yes, I can project my question. So my question is, it's actually for the online people.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about the focus groups. How did those come about? Was there a community outreach done? And which communities are involved? Which members of the community? We have a lot of monolingual members of our community who are also not tech savvy. So more than likely, they won't go to the website and put a comment. So having access to something where they can write, or going to the community and asking the community for their input in this process, I think it's very important. So who are the focus groups? Who are the people that are being represented there? And you had another group, I don't know, which one did you?
Steering committee.
The steering committee, who are they?
So staff tried to reach out to folks and invite them, and mostly it was just people in the community that we're already engaged with. And the process doesn't end with that. This is just the beginning. There will be lots of opportunities from here to when we stop the in gathering of input, and we will be engaging with the public at different events. So we definitely know that not everybody uses social media, not everybody likes the mobile devices or even just being online to begin with. So we know that and we understand that, and we are identifying events, places that we will go to and have the paper copies and distribute those presentations. I also would like to extend an invitation if anybody has any neighborhood meetings where you would like us to present this or a shorter version of this. We're, as staff, more than welcome to attend.
And I believe, Lauren, you have paper copies in your office as well if people want to come.
Yeah, paper copies probably made available here at admin, maybe the other city facilities.
And also, I would make a recommendation for the slides to be bilingual.
Yes, thank you so much.
Which they're not, and also to have a presentation only in Spanish,
Okay.
so that the people in the community feel participants of that process.
Definitely, we can definitely do that.
my name is Jesus Cabrera, and I've been living here in Socorro for 49 years. And every time it's a new planning, a new what you're trying to do, it looks nice. In paper, it looks nice. Right now, I'm still going to my mom's house, and it's still the same hole on the street for 49 years. And all these questions, you need to review them because not a single question is going to help Socorro. Second thing is, they mixing housing, warehouses. It's a mess. Thank you. No, I'm going to write it for you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Muy buenas tardes a todos. My name is Rudy Cruz Jr., one of the city representatives here in Socorro. My district is 3. Soy el regidor de Socorro del Distrito 3. I'm very excited and happy to have a room filled with concerned residents because I've been living here for 39 years myself. It's very easy for us to sit behind the desk here and make decisions for the community of Socorro, which is why it's very important that we get your engagement tonight. You guys are asking all the right questions. There's no wrong question tonight. If at any time you felt any embarrassment in life, tonight's not the night. We invite you all to question, to state your concerns, because I myself, I'm gonna do the same thing because I'm a resident of Socorro. And as long as you guys pay taxes to the city of Socorro, we're gonna build the city that you guys want, because it's your tax dollars at work. And we're gonna make sure that we're putting them to work the way you guys want them to be done, not the way a small group of people want it. We need your public engagement. If grandma, if your tías, our tíos no están aquí presentes hoy, esperemos que estén aquí en las otras juntas. We ask that you disseminate this information to them, because I know my mom isn't too tech savvy. I'm gonna take these papers back home to her so she can fill them out. I'll turn them in. We ask for you guys to take every step possible so that we understand the needs of the people. And again, this is a very informal public forum here tonight, and we ask that you engage with us as well. Our staff has worked diligently to bring this. I know in the past, maybe this may have not been something that the city of Socorro has done, but we want to make it a common practice because we feel that it's necessary and it's important to get your all's input tonight. So by all means, we are taking all of your concerns and considerations and we're writing them down. Sí, vamos a poner toda la información que tenemos aquí en inglés en español también, porque es muy importante para la comunidad de Socorro, que hablan español, para que participen también en esta junta. So I appreciate you all. I'm going to let Matrix take over. I think we're going to move on to the next step so that we can start engaging in the activities. We need to know what you guys want. We need your input, and they're going to tell us how to go about it. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, or do we want to, yes?
Just real quick, regarding your focus groups, is your organization willing to meet with some of the groups here? Currently, we represent about 100 families that we have a concern about the future planning and some of the developments that are going on here. We've organized, and so we'd like to know if you guys would be able to meet with us, and so that way we can go over some of the future planning. Like I said, we represent about 100 families here with EPISO, and so that's one of the questions that we have.
Yeah, just come see me or Janice, and we can get your contact information, and we can see what we can set up.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Muchos de nosotros no nos sentimos bien hablando público. La mayoría de mis vecinos hablan español y son muy tímidos, pero sí representamos a Socorro. Tenemos más de 40 años viviendo ahí y hemos vivido carencias, muchas carencias, y nunca nos damos cuenta de que van a hacer esto, que
All right, well, thank you, everybody. And we're here. Ask questions and please provide any input. Thank you all for your time this evening, and it's